This is the story of what we like to call the miracles of Adventure Heights All Abilities Park.
It's a serious responsibility when you're talking about people's leisure activities, right? And so we seriously consider what the needs are. And oftentimes we've got a master plan that we work off of, and we'll update that every so many years and get the people's input on what it is they would like to see in the community. If we're deficient anywhere, what types of things that we can do to meet the needs of the community. So yeah, and when it comes to open space, yeah, we take it very seriously. We want to make sure we have a very livable community that's not all just brick and mortar.
I serve as the chairman of the Parks and Recreation Committee, and it's a group of citizens that meet one time a month. And the Parks and Recreation is a wide variety of things through this city. And we also discuss and have discussed for the last couple of years, what are the priorities in the projects that the city might want to move forward with. And this, All Abilities Park has been up to the top of the list for the, discussions for a couple of years.
So an All Abilities Park is a place that's created to meet the needs of anyone, the play needs, right, of anybody in the community, whether they're in a wheelchair, whether they have special needs, or anybody else. And the concept is so that they can recreate and play together. And so there's something there for everyone, and that's what makes All Abilities Park special.
So we received a phone call from a resident saying that he'd like to visit with the mayor, the city manager, and the Parks and Recreation director, and not just him, but his whole family. And we set up the appointed day and went really not having a clue what they wanted to visit about. And it became very apparent very quickly that this meeting wasn't about city issues that needed to be fixed, but really about city issues that this family cared about. And after some fun discussion with this family, the father actually turned the attention to one of his older children and said he'd like to discuss something with you. He said, "We love the city. We love everything about the city. We love living here and we love what you do. And we've been blessed and we'd like to participate in making it even better." And he slid a check across the table for a sizable donation.
When they handed us a check and said, "Let's build an All Abilities Park," of course we were dumbfounded, but then they had some stipulations, right? We don't want you to use any of this money to purchase land. We want this park built by July 24th, those types of things. These guys are movers and shakers, and they love to cut through all the bureaucratic stuff and let's just make some things happen.
Being a city manager, thinking through some of the processes, I said, wait a second, we don't have any land for this. And it's really hard to acquire land. Sometimes it takes us a year just to acquire land. And with a beautiful wry smile on his face, the father said, "No problem. Take all the time you need to acquire the land. Just every day you spend trying to buy the land is a day you don't get to build the park, so don't take too long on that."
This process is quite remarkable, actually. We met with this individual on September 6th, and on the week of the 16th, we interviewed some landscape architects to try to start to put together a design team, and we got them hired and on board. And then we started doing research. Basically, you got a lot of research to do, looking at other existing All Abilities parks throughout the country.
So the way that we went about the design of this park was a little bit unique. Usually we always have some sort of ownership group, whether it's a homeowner or a city. Usually when we're doing a city park, a lot of times there's not a focus group. Because this was a special needs park, the city really wanted to involve the residents and their children, and so we set up a focus group early on. We did some initial design concepts, some renderings, lots of different ideas to throw out there to the family to say what would work.
It was such a great blessing for us to be invited to be a part of the planning process of this park. It gave us the opportunity to share the things that we always wished that we had had in a park for our child with special needs to be able to enjoy with his brothers, so that we could have an experience as a whole family. And it was really touching to be gathered as a community of families with special needs children, and to see the camaraderie among those families, and to feel the support of the city and the community wanting to make something special happen for so many families that all families, I think, will enjoy for generations to come.
Yes. Do you guys remember the meeting we went to?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. How was the meeting?
It was good.
Yes.
I saw a lot of fun stuff for Sabrina to go on.
Yes.
I attended because Joe stayed home with our special needs child. We rarely get to do things like this together, but so I attended, actually brought my teenage daughter with me, and so we went to the meeting and looked at all the different pictures of the park, and we've attended a lot of All Abilities parks, so we kind of had ideas of things that we knew our child did well with and things that were not great for us.
I have lots of input. Van accessible parking and adult-sized changing tables and a slide where we can sit with him. And so we got to go to that meeting and give all of our ideas, and it was so great to be heard.
We had a daughter with special needs, and when this came about, the city asked if we would like to be involved in it, just because we've been in the city. He teaches, or he's an administrator at the high school, and they said, do you guys want to sit in on this committee? And we thought, absolutely. Like, Spanish Fork needs something like this.
And so we had the opportunity to just go around and visit with the architects and other parents and kind of brainstorm some ideas.
Yeah, this is not a cookie cutter park, right? There's a lot of very special, intricate details that need to go into this park in order to create the play atmosphere that you want to have for these families. So with the idea that we're going to build a park now, the challenge was to find a place. Where are we going to put it?
We began looking for options and quickly settled on 4 areas, which were all kind of in the same central part of the community. We looked at parts of town that didn't have parks. The parcel that the park is on today really was the best location. The problem was we didn't own this property. It was owned by the Jex family, and it's actually been owned by the Jex family since the 1880s. But it was under contract with another buyer. A developer was considering this land for homes and development. And we didn't own it, and we didn't have it under contract.
We were actually in a meeting with the powers to be, with a lot of the city people, and we were discussing another project that I'm involved with. And after about an hour, Seth said, okay, can we finish this up? And he introduced what they would like to do, obviously, which caught me totally off guard. We had plans to develop this into housing, preferably some nicer high-density housing. And after they presented a plan to us, they told us what they wanted to do. They told us of some other folks that have made the first part of this possible, and that this was one of 4 properties that they had identified. And obviously, sorry,
this touched our hearts.
Yeah, it was there. It was the one that they really wanted to build on. It was really to the point that we felt like what you can do with the property is much better than what we can do with it for the community. We can build houses other places, but this really needs to be in this place.
Once the land was acquired, it was really important that we got on site immediately and start moving the dirt so that we could be moving fluidly while we can finish those drawings and put them together. And working with the architect and working with the engineers and pulling on subcontractors and making sure that we can be in front of it instead of behind it. And typically that happens with those processes is we have to wait until plans are done and then come out and start. This wasn't that. This was never going to be that project. And so having a great team, working well with the city, working well with our subs, and making sure that we could fluidly work through the site while we work through the design and not skip parts, right? And be right on task and right on time.
As we continued in the design process, we actually had a second meeting with this special interest focus group. One of the things that I think really moved me was the fact that I had no idea what challenges that these people faced when they're simply looking for a place to recreate with their family. And they literally opened my eyes to some things that I never have thought of. If you have plastic slides, the static electricity affects the cochlear implants. You keep all these things in mind and then create opportunities for them to interact and play with their children, if you will, where in just a standard park situation, they can't do that.
I've been interested in this project from the very first day that it was introduced. And you know, out along the canyon road there, all that was a year ago is a bunch of ugly bushes, and this was just dirt and an open field. So to see this blossom and to come to what I'm seeing here today it's just unbelievable to me.
When the pandemic happened, everything almost took a screeching halt, right? Because it really reflected in almost everything that we were bringing on site, all of our materials and all of our big features and all of these things. And really the challenge is not people not wanting to keep going and work through it, it's literally being shut down by external forces that they can't control. Lots of miracles throughout the whole project, and I've seen it from all angles. I saw it from the owner's perspective, and I saw it from our perspective, I saw it from the architect's perspective, our suppliers, and just helping them, right, understand the big vision of what this was.
We should probably, on a project like this, have another year of construction to do this. COVID did certainly play a factor. We had a lot of products that were delayed. The play equipment was delayed by probably 4 to 6 weeks. We had products coming out of state, out of the US, that had long lead times that we had to wait for, the Liberty Swing, some of the bathroom components. So that certainly played a challenge. But the biggest thing is when you get a pile of people on an anthill and everyone needs to do this before you do that, it becomes a real logistical challenge.
When the vision was shared with us and the deadlines that they originally set to get this done, I don't think many people believed it could be done in that deadline. And then when they decided to expand the scope of what they're doing here to get this done, obviously an amazing contractor who made this happen with their subcontractors and their people and their helpers and everybody involved. It just doesn't happen like this in the development world.
It came together incredibly fast and amazingly beautiful.
Yeah.
Here we are, 12 months later, 12 fast, furious, and crazy months later. But welcome to Adventure Heights, All Abilities Park. This park is here because of the vision of many, the hard work of many. I have to give kudos, compliments to some of those visionaries. Our Parks and Recreation Director, Dale Robinson, who oversaw this work and paid attention to that infinite detail. And because of that, never lost sight of what this park could be.
When we came up with Adventure Heights, All Abilities Park, it resonated with us. And it's because we want the kids to come in and have an adventure. There's a lot of adventurous type things in here. You've got tree houses, you've got mountains with waterfalls, and you have caves, gold mines, and all this cool things that they can explore. And so adventure seemed to be a word that just was spot on. We want not only kids to be able to play and have an elevated play experience, but we want them to be able to reach new heights. Regardless of what their capabilities are physically or mentally or otherwise. We want them to have this park create an experience for them where they can feel like they're reaching new heights and they're progressing in their own world. As you enter this park, you're going to notice something in the entryway, a very large compass. The symbolism is, compass comes from the Latin word, which is calm, means together, and passus means step. And so the significance of the compass, which you will also see in the Adventure Heights logo, is that we want you to be able to step together. As a family, friends, regardless of what your ability is, you can come here and play and step together. We were looking for like 2 or 3 marquee features. We told our distributor, hey, we need a tree house. And so he sent it off to this creative guy in Minnesota, and he came back with this massive tree house that looks like it was built by kids, which is brilliant. I mean, it just makes you, you're endeared to it. It's huge too. I mean, it goes up 16 feet, and the top of it's at 24 feet, but it's a large tree that you can climb up the middle with a spiral staircase, and then it has all the neat features that go with it. So you can have interactive play again for those in wheelchairs or others. It was custom made just for us. So there's not another one like it in the world, and there won't be another one like it.
And there is a slide on the playground that has this lip, this tongue that goes off to the side. We call it a dignity chair. That child, his mom or dad or brother gets him up to this slide, and they can help him get in to the slide, but their wheelchair is still up there. The kid slides down. He gets to the bottom of the chair, but he can't go anywhere because they've got to bring the wheelchair down to him. While he's sitting there, he's not just stopped waiting and maybe blocking other kids from playing. He can actually grab this arm hold, pull himself out of the way of the slide. He is now sitting on the slide and can turn around and give a high five to the next kid coming down. This kid in a wheelchair who normally doesn't get to play in a park like this can interact with his friends and family members on the slide in a way he never gets to in any other park.
As you first come into the park, the sensory garden is just off to your right. It's really for more autistic type kids that need to get away from the hubbub of all the crowds and they want some quiet. But we also have interactive panels in there where they can touch and feel and hear noises. And you've got a little music area where they can play chimes and beat on some drums. So it's really more of a passive area. But one of the slides that I just think is really unique and I love was custom built for us. And you can fit 4 or 5 kids together on this metal slide, promoting the play that I can sit with my siblings, I can sit with my kids, we can interact together and go down this slide side by side. And when I was designing this, I wanted to be able to accommodate more people. So we created a stream that went out into the park further and then connected with a splash pad. And then there's interactive water toys there, which make it again very unique because kids in wheelchairs can wheel right up to the little interactive water feature at the splash pad, which normally they can't get in, and play with water. One of the parents said, I need to have one entrance into this park. So I know there's only one way to get out, and I know that they'll be safe. They won't run out in the road somewhere. So that was a neat feature that I thought was great. I've never built a park that we have fenced in. I mean, you've got about 7 acres inside this fence, and we decided that we were going to use all of it. And so we created a bunch of grass areas that are very large, so that we can, if there's things that we don't propose to know everything about what needs to go in this park. We're much more educated than we were, but there's going to be something else that comes along down the road that we would say, hey, that would be a cool feature to put in our park. So we've left a lot of room for expansion.
We learn from family members that they have a hard time dealing with bathroom issues, toilet issues with their family members. You have a mother who says, I change my child's diaper on the floor. Not here. No way. Not in this park. There's a table that comes down out of the wall. They can set their adult on there. Or you have a child that they're going to roam around. So you can put them in the chair, hold them still, and you can then attend to the bathroom needs that you have. It's about that experience for that mom and for that kid. There's no demeaning. You know, I'm not a second class. I hope that when a family comes into this park and they enjoy the different features here, they walk out of here and they know they're loved. They know they're counted. They know they are valued. They go to some other park and those thoughts maybe never enter their mind, but here they're going to walk out of here and say, Spanish Fork loves me. I count. I matter. I'm important.
And as we cut the ribbon and seen each one of those families with their special needs children, as they got a chance to get on some of these rides, and I watched their faces and their smiles. And many of them come up to me and say how grateful and what a wonderful park we've built. Unreal and awesome. And it's even beyond our expectations what has taken place here.
It kind of filled my heart. And yeah, to again see the suggestions that we wrote down and we verbalized and they executed on was awesome.
Phenomenal. The city did great. This park is going to be fantastic for so many families. So many families, not just families with special needs, but families that want to come, and the families with special needs kids get to have that interaction, and their kids get to see other kids playing that may not be like them. And so the city did a great job, a good job, making sure that everybody in the city, regardless of abilities, can come to one place and be with each other.
Well, and this is what happens when you get a community together and they share their voices. Because of those comments and input that were listened to. So it was great.
I wanted a slide that she could go on, that since she's an adult now, that she could fit, and she could fit under the railing because she also has a harder time sitting. And so they provided that perfectly. There's a slide by the waterfall that has enough room for 3 people. It's tall enough that she can bend down and fit under it, and it has a rail to hold on to. So that, I'm just thrilled with that.
Every special needs person is different, has different abilities and skills, and families are different. So it's fun to see everyone come together and implement it, have input into the park and what the final product would be. And so you just look around and see all the different activities and opportunities for kids to come together, all ages, all types, and just to bond together and have a great time, great experiences.
My father had a severe stroke about a year ago. We ended up losing him about 6 months ago, but during that process, we understand what it's like when one can't care for himself, and to have a bathroom that I could take my father in and take care of his needs,
It's priceless.
let alone the kids. I mean, who would have thought of that? It's
an actual need that so many people don't think about.
It would have been a special place to even bring my dad over here, who couldn't communicate with us, but he could have shared a few things with us, and I wouldn't have hesitated to bring him over here in the condition that he was.
Did they meet our expectations?
Way past.
Yes, way past. I try not to cry, but yes, it's something that meets everyone. We're always sitting off to the side, or we will even just sit in the car and just let the boys run around, time them, let's go. But she just got off the swing, and that was the first time she's ever been on a swing. So I got emotional, but she can go on the slide. It's just endless. There's just so much, and we're just so thankful. So we're so excited to spend so much time here in Spanish. I don't think we're ever going to leave Spanish Fork now, right? No.
Tell me about the experience that you had removing and revealing the name of the park.
Yeah.
Was it so
was
good?
that fun? Tell me about it. What did you do?
Pull rope.
Pulled the rope.
And was that very special? How did it make you feel?
Happy.
I can tell you're smiling so much. What is your favorite thing in the park?
This tree house.
You love the
This
tree house.
treehouse.
What's so fun about the tree house?
The big slide.
It's incredible. What's most amazing to me is that someone would be so generous to donate to families like us. That's a really big deal.
The city has definitely delivered, times 10. And we just feel so heard, we count. Wyatt can't do a lot of stuff, but this is above and beyond.
Oh, this miracle that we sit here and watch now has got to impact hundreds of people in this community. And not just people with special needs, but there's something here for everyone. And the interesting thing for me, this thing is so big, if you're to bring your child up or your grandkid, this isn't a couple of hour event. This is a half a day or an all day event because there's several features in here. You're not going to do this in a couple of hours.
We couldn't be more grateful. Honestly, to be a part of a project like this, it's going to be a huge impact in this community, and a part of a community that a lot of us in our company are from. We all grew up here, and so we'll see the impacts. We're going to know the people, and in fact, as it's gone along, so many people have approached us and just been like, "You guys are doing that project. We're so excited to see that come," and because of that, because of those friendships, those relationships, and the people of the city, there's just this different touch with this project that we really are super grateful. We're excited. We're always happy to be a part of this project specifically with Spanish Fork City. And we know that it's going to reflect in the kids' faces when they're here and they're playing on the equipment, and they're going to love it, and they're going to talk about it for years to come.
One of the benefits that we have as architects is when we sit down and start designing something and walking through with a homeowner or with the city, as an architect, I see things three-dimensionally. To be able to walk out here and see it finished, and it looks like what it was supposed to look like in my mind, yeah, that's huge satisfaction, and that's a personal joy of being an architect, to see it come to fruition.
I have the greatest job in the world. I get to provide recreational opportunities for all the citizens of Spanish Fork, for families to enjoy. And that's an important thing, to create quality of life in your community. That's basically what I do. And so this is neat, and these are icons that are going to be here for years and years to come. That family after family can come and enjoy here. We have people that move here specifically for our recreational facilities. It's one of the things that attracts them to Spanish Fork City. It's moving when you look back to be able to see some of these facilities that have been created, and I love it. I just love it.
This is a story of miracles. Without miracles, this park wouldn't be here today. And so we thank the family for their generous and kind donation. We thank the Jack's family for selling this land to us. We thank the developer for allowing us to buy it in front of him. We thank the construction team. We thank the design team for designing a beautiful park. And again, that construction team for building such an amazing place. We thank all of the visionaries involved in that design and construction phase. And we thank the families for giving us insights and helping us to make this park a park that is better for them and their children, so that all can come together and all can play together.